Hello, guys. Welcome to Rex. Oh, sorry, to Querying Science, Theology, Philosophy, and Spirituality. This is the LGBTQ Center for Science, Theology, Philosophy, and Spirituality, QSTPS. And today we have got a word discussion of the issue of grace and mercy before the Old Testament. I mean, before before the New Testament. And this came when I was having thoughts about grace and New Testament. And this came when I was having thoughts about grace and mercy. Now, um, speaking, I just wanted to warn you that because of my background, I have been very Christocentric in some of my videos, but I am not, I am an interfaith, um, I'm an interfaith center. I became interfaith very recently when I came back to understanding LGBTQ faith and the importance of having interrelational unity between the faiths, and then also the new concept called inclusion. You know, inclusion means including everybody to be part of an organization, of a system. That's where the world is, and the world was already inclusive. Especially Christianity is very inclusive because Jesus Christ died for all. Yes, he died for all. And he died for all, even those who don't accept that sacrifice. He died for them. That's why I believe and teach there is no hell. Because if Jesus died for all, why are some going to hell? They're not going to hell. Yes, because Jesus died for all. And it's written in the Bible, many verses say that he was the sacrifice for all. He's the mediator for all. And all means all. Those who even existed before, those who existed that time, and those who will exist in the future. So that's what people need to understand. So everyone is covered. Is that true? That's why I always laugh. I like looking at the evangelical church. These days they don't have crusades. You know? Do you know why? They have finished the job. Those who want to get saved, who want to show that they are saved, they come in front and show that they are saved. But those who don't want to come to get saved, it doesn't mean they're not saved. It's just that the way they are saved is different. That's all. So evangelicalism is a denomination whereby you confess and say you're saved. I remember I said diversity is the principal. So what does this mean? There's diversity of salvations. Some people will be saved through Islam. All Muslims are saved. All Buddhists are saved. All Hindus are saved. Yes, all. Everyone. Because Jesus died for all. Jesus died for Buddhists. Jesus died for Hindus. Jesus died for Muslims. Jesus died for atheists. Yes. He didn't come and say, okay, because you don't believe in me, I won't die. No, he died. If he found out that there were only 300 people in a world of 7 billion that will believe in him, do you think he would have died? No. But he died. Of course, we're going to discuss about his sacrifice, though it's Christmas season. But then there's a very nice topic we're going to discuss about Christmas. And that topic is about Santa Claus. Have you noticed that Santa Claus is actually a feminine name? Because Santa Barbara is a feminine name for a female saint. So when I looked at the name and I wondered, Santa Claus, very interesting. And I just said, okay, that's interesting. Santa Claus. Go and look Santa Maria, Santa Lucia. All of those are feminine names. So I asked myself, why was Nicholas considered feminine? So I said to myself, most likely Nicholas was gay. And that's what I think. So Santa Claus is actually a gay man. So, because the masculine name for a saint is San. San Marino, San Diego, San Francisco, San Andreas, San Antonio. Those are Saint Anthony, Saint Andrew, Andreas, Saint, I can't remember what Diego is, but I think in Portuguese it's Tiago. I can't remember what Diego is in English, but Saint Diego, Saint Francis, San Francisco. So you have to understand that why was Nicholas called Santa? Santa Nicholas or Santa Claus? I've told you he was a feminine, what do you call it? A feminine man, or maybe gay, because even in Latin, the name sodomite is effeminati. Yes, the feminine person, they called them sodomites. They were gays. But in Hebrew, the word sodomite is not effeminati or sodomite, it is kadesh. Yes, it's kadesh. So kadesh means holy, set aside, sacred. So in Hebrew it is kadesh. The sodomite, the homosexual, is a holy person. He is a sacred person. But but in Latin, they called it effeminati. And then in English, they did not call it a holy person or a feminine person, but they called the name sodomite. They used the name sodomite from the name Sodom. What happened in Sodom? Yes, because they were trying to make people to understand that the people Israel is talking about, these were homosexuals in Israel. Now, you have to understand something very interesting. The first Bible was in Hebrew. The Old Testament was in Hebrew. Then the second, I will get so sorry I'm doing this without doing the Greek. I'll do the Greek of the Septuagint and read the word in the Septuagint for sodomite or homosexual. And then number 3, the next Bible was the Latin Bible. So there was in Hebrew, Greek, Latin, then English. So what does that mean? Now, when the English translators wrote the Bible or translated the Bible, they had to read the previous translations to understand what they were saying. So the writers of the King James Version of the Bible sat down and said, okay, the Romans call gay people effeminati, but the Hebrew people call them kadesh. So they had to compare. At first, when you read in Hebrew, if you read in Hebrew, you may not really understand kadesh. But when you read in Latin, you will now understand they are talking about sodomites or gay people or LGBTQ persons, because basically in English law, sodomy means LGBTQ sex, any sex other than vaginal sex, penile vaginal, because you can even have vaginal sex without a penis, penile vaginal sex. So any sex like that, any sex other than that sex is called sodomy. So I always tell lesbians, I joke around with my lesbian friends, I tell them, you're also a sodomite. Yeah, you're a sodomite. And some of them can't understand it, but that's what it says, because in British law, you are not allowed to have any other sex other than the penis entering the vagina. So if you suck cock if you kiss the ass or the vagina, if you do anything with any body part, penetrate the anus, if you do all of those, then you will be a sodomite. So, lesbians, you're also sodomites. Anyway, that's not our concern now. Our concern was the mercy and the grace of God. The fact that people, confuse. Oh, so sorry. Before I say that, I had talked about the fact that I'm so Christocentric. So to solve that Christocentrism, we are going to have Quranic readings in English, and we're going to have Bhagavad Gita readings. This is because we are an interfaith organization or interfaith center. So we are studying all religions in the world, much as we are Christocentric, much as we are standing on the Christian faith. We are also standing with all the religions in the world to study them and to know why certain people believe certain things. There is diversity of religions. And I always tell people diversity is the principal. So there's diverse salvations. So you're a Muslim, but you're going to heaven. You're a Hindu, you're going to heaven. Buddhists, atheists, they're going to heaven. Everybody's going to heaven because Jesus Christ died for all. Never forget that. Jesus Christ was a sacrifice for all. That's the beauty of Christianity. Jesus Christ died for all. He died for men, he died for women, he died for Jews, he died for Gentiles, he died for gays, he died for straights, he died for all. He died for the poor, he died for the rich. So you cannot preach a gospel or teaching that is seclusive, exclusive, that it doesn't include everybody. It includes all, and all means all. When you get that theology, it finishes these other theologies out there like Antichrist, some people are going to hell. No, it's gone because Jesus Christ died for all. Even those who don't believe in him, he died for them. Yes, that's what it says. So we're going to do that study. So because of that, it's not bad to read the Quran. It's not bad to read the Bhagavad Gita. It's not bad to read Buddha's writings. It's not bad to read African writings. It's not bad to read other Asian Shintoism. Read them. But you will have your base. Like when you surf on the internet, you have your home page. You remember the days, early internet, there was MSN. MSN used to be the home page. And then you search other websites, but you come back to the home page. So in the past, even Google used to be the home page. Every time you open the computer, Google just appears. Google, until new companies came up and it stopped being a home page. So what does this mean? That you can have a religion that is your home page, but you are allowed to get to read and study other religions. That's what we do here in QSTPS. Queer Science, Theology, Philosophy, and Spirituality. It's like you have your home, your country. But just because you have that country doesn't mean you can't travel to other countries. You can't travel. And that traveling is like going to another religion. And you study, you can learn things, you have the culture of that country, then you go to another one. So if you're an interfaith person or a pantheist, you are actually an explorer. You're just going through many religions, trying to understand the concept of God and the understanding of God. So that's what we do here in QSTPS. We are with every religion to study and understand, even though we are Christocentric. So back to what we are going to discuss. And we are discussing the mercy of God. Many people think that God was merciful only in the New Testament when Jesus Christ died. But that is contrary to the reality in the Bible. the truth of the matter is, God has always been merciful. And this we're going to prove in verses in the Bible that will show us that God has been a merciful God. Now, when you go to the book of Psalms 1, it says, God, it has a refrain. You know, a refrain is a chorus. And the psalm is a very beautiful psalm. It's like the song's African psalm. Remember, I am the one who always says, or I'm one of those who say, Africa is very related to Israel and the Arab world. And it is proven by genetics. And of course, even the white race came from Africa, but that is after they left Africa after many years. So that's another thing. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is there's an African, and when I say African, please don't get me wrong. I'm saying relationship. There are similarities between African culture and Israeli culture. So I don't get me wrong and think that I'm saying that okay, all Africans are Israeli, so the Israelis in Israel are not Israel. No, they are Israelis. They are also Israelis, and there are Israelis also living in Africa. So that's a fact. So that one is no argument. To make it clear, I'm just saying relationship, because there are some cultures which are very close to Israeli culture, ancient Israeli culture, and others are not in Africa. So when it comes to music, there is some similarities, and in African music, there's what you call answer and response, call and response, call and response. Now the response is mostly repeated. It's the same refrain. So they say, like in an African song, they say, when I went down to the river and I saw the fish jump out, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah is the response. And then when I found the fish, I took it out and then ate it, then oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah is the response. So you have a leader who is saying a saying, and then a response is the big choir, is the chorus. So even this Psalms 106, oh give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. You see? Oh give thanks unto the God of gods, for his mercy endureth forever. To him who alone doeth great wonders, for his mercy endureth forever. To him that stretched out the earth above the waters, for his mercy endureth forever. To him that made great lights, for his mercy endureth forever. The sun to rule by day, for his mercy endureth forever. So these are over 20 verses, 26 actually, and they are saying, the leader is saying, no. For his mercy endureth forever is the response, is the chorus of the song, because the psalms are just songs. And as I was telling you, it's very weird that it's similar to how black Africans sing traditional songs. They have the call and response, but not, they're diverse songs. So don't take it that Africans just sing that. No, they're diverse songs. There are songs where there's a leader, is just singing. Yeah, we are very similar. I mean, I personally call Israel part of Africa, so we are just the same. And what was I trying to say? So what are you seeing here? This the most important statement. For his mercy endureth forever. For his mercy endureth forever. Just think about forever. Just think of forever. Think about forever. That's how it is. Forever. God is merciful forever. You know, we don't know forever. Nobody knows when is forever. We've never reached forever, and we will never reach forever because forever is forever. So, what is this? God's mercies are infinite. When you see the word forever and eternal, just know it's infinite. Life eternal, life infinite, life with no end. That's what it does. And even life, as I said, I told you, time is life. So eternal life is eternal time, which is infinite. Everlasting life, everlasting love is infinite love. It will never, ever stop. Infinite. Do you know we live in a temporal world? Do you know what a temporal world means? We live in a world where time can have an end. So there's some people who are very temporal. You know, some people are temporal. Even I say it to many people. Some of you, you live your lives and there's something you keep on working for 10 years, then you stop doing that job. That's a temporal lifestyle. Then you have a permanent lifestyle. This one is temporal but will end, because temporal means life, whole life. Temporal can mean part of the life, but permanent is temporal till you die. Permanent. Yes. You can even like permanent head damage, PhD. They are permanent till you die. Your brain is gone. It can't be helped. So that is permanent, is a temporal, but then infinite means no end, eternal time. So not only is the love of God infinite, and not only is everlasting life infinite, even the mercies of God are infinite. It's so beautiful to say it. Infinite. No end. No end. That's why Paul said, world without end. Yes, the world will never end. And I can agree with him, because the planets, when will the planets, people think that the world will end, but when will planet Saturn die? When will planet Jupiter die? Why did religious people never write about the end of some planets? Yes, they only wrote about the end of planet Earth. That's why I like Hinduism. It's eschatology. It makes sense. They believe the earth just goes through cycles, but it remains in the infinite state, meaning it will never end, because it has never even had a beginning. It has just been there. And it goes through stages, changes, but there are cycles that happen. It's beautiful to think about it. You know, much as there are cycles, there are also changes. So, His mercy endureth forever. His mercy endureth forever. So infinite mercy. And then, what was my point? My point is, the mercies of God have existed before the New Testament. So does this mean God has been merciful even in the Old Testament? This is why Israel never kept the law and God just stared. Because I always tell people, why did he not kill? Do you know, if he killed, if the law was that if you break the law, we kill you, let me tell you, Israel would not be there today. There would be no Jew in the world. Yes. If you make a mistake, you die. Can you imagine? That's a totalitarian system. And there's some systems like that. There's some people, they have death penalty for practically every law that is broken. Death, death, death. Oh my God, you finish everybody. Why? Because the human nature makes errors. That's what you need to understand. And some things are worth repeating. People may say, but now we already know that. So, no, you keep on repeating it for yourself to understand. That's something people need to understand. That's why I was contemplating about the European culture, the Western culture. I really don't value the remembrance of the mistakes of somebody. If you've apologized, like what happened to Kevin Hart, he apologized for the tweets he had written in 2009, but they resurfaced again. You see, someone went back and brought them back to the future. To the present. So he had to say sorry again. So people were arguing like, why should you say sorry about something you already said sorry about? You see, there are some people who have that heart of, I demand another sorry. Yeah, and so that's what people do. They are human beings like that. And there are some humans, they take time. They take time to forgive people, and even if you tell them sorry, they just can't get it. So these days, when I apologize to people, I just leave them. I don't waste time. I've apologized. Well, if you don't take it, that's up to you. Yes, I've apologized and I've gone. I've said sorry. Good. If you don't forgive me, that's not my problem. I've already dealt with you. I have told you sorry. So this is what you need to understand about the Western system, whereby you commit a crime or something in 1901, then in 2001 they look for you because you're still alive. So my question is, I committed the crime in 1901. Why wasn't I arrested in 1901? Yes, arrest me and charge me for that thing I've done. That's what you do. But you don't give somebody 100 years, 70 years, 60 years that I committed. Do you know why? Legally speaking, it makes no sense. Because there is no evidence. Yes. The evidence reduces as the years go by. So it means the judge has to really, as the years go by, they progress, he has to use more evidence than was there when the case was fresh. So what does that mean? Basically, you're just playing with a dead water case. It's dead. Because remember, the first time the case was fresh, there was no evidence. Now, what makes you think that you're going to get evidence in the next 50 years when now you don't even have it? You'd rather acquit the person on the basis that there's no evidence. That's what you do. So that's, hopefully the Western system will look at that. Of course, in America they have the statute of limitations. But hopefully they will. Yes, this is even slavery. You can apologize and let it go. And then if there are damages caused by that action, like slavery, that are very, very consequential and very significant, then you can have a program that can cover that anomaly. Like I tell Americans, it's my idea. I know they have said sorry. The white population has said sorry, but for me, my idea would be, well, you can give money from the day slavery started in America to the day it ended. You give money to all black Americans who are descendants of slaves, and give them until the 300 years are finished. Then you can now close it. That's a solution. So basically what I'm just trying to say is, that's if the anomaly that was committed had a grave consequence on the psyche and the life of the people. Like even Germany could do it to the Jews, pay them to tell them sorry. And for the time the concentration camps were built, to the period the World War II ended. They can even give some monies to Israel. Yeah. Well, it has been happening, of course. They get the artwork that was stolen and the books that were stolen, they are returned back to their rightful owners. Okay, so that's the beautiful thing of the mercy of God. Then another verse that talks about the mercy of God is Psalms 119, verse 41, and this says, "Let thy mercies come also unto me, O God, even thy salvation according to thy word." So what are you saying here? Let thy mercies come also unto me, O God, even thy salvation according to thy word. Mercy is salvation. Yes. Mercy is salvation. God is merciful, God is merciful when he saves you. You know, what is mercy? It's pardon. And so what I'm trying to tell people, pardon existed in the Old Testament rather than the New Testament. So people should not tell you there was no grace. People say there's no grace in the Old Testament. There was grace. It was plenty of grace. It's just that in the New Testament, that realization was now sealed by the sacrifice of Jesus Christ on the cross when he died for everybody. Everybody. You know? So everybody Jesus died for. And therefore the mercies were new every morning. So that's what I tell people, be happy with your life. Even just go on, do what you want. If you want to pray 24/7, pray. If you want to pray for 1 second, pray. If you don't want to pray, just do what you want. The mercies of God have taken over. They have, because Jesus Christ died for all. And that's the thing. And then now, secondly, as I've told you, the mercies are new. There's a verse in Lamentation, and then we'll be done. Lamentation chapter 3. Lamentation chapter 3. Verse 32 or 23? 22. It's of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassion fail not. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. We used to sing a song like that in the past. Yes, every morning. Just think about that. Every morning. A billion years. Every morning. For a billion years. For 10 trillion years. Every morning. For a quadrillion, 100 quadrillion years. Every morning. And this was before Jesus ever came to the picture. This was before Jesus ever died on the cross. So the mercies of God are new every morning. It's beautiful. Think about it. Every morning, and I've told you, the world is infinite. So we're going to have infinite mornings and infinite evenings, because time is infinite and life is infinite. That's why when you say the afterlife, it's basically another life, another planet. You're going to another planet, another cosmos. Like now, I've just started telling people, you leave the planet. When you die, yes, when you die, you leave the planet. I told people that. You leave the planet. You go to another planet. And then I believe you come to this planet Earth as a spirit. That's why I'm going to do a study on this. I'm still is still churning in my head. And I'm going to do a study about it, because if Jesus Christ is coming back, like people have said, there is this hologram of Jesus Christ in the air that you're seen in London and all of these things. And I was telling them, no, that's not what the Bible says. The Bible says when he comes, all shall see him, and he will come in his physical form, in the flesh. This is flesh. So that's why I want to do that study, because if Jesus is going to come how can Jesus come in a cloud form when the Bible is very clear that Jesus went in a physical form? Or is it that Jesus actually went in a cloud form? You see, nobody knows. So those are the questions I always ask people, and I always say that I'll ask God if when we go to heaven. I'll just go and say, no, these guys wrote something crazy, or I didn't understand it. So many people are worried, or some people get worried about that. No, that's not Jesus Christ as the Bible has said. The Bible is very clear. We will see him. The first time they saw Jesus, when he rose from the dead, there were nail prints in his hand. Yes. And Thomas even demanded to see. The Jesus I know is the one who has nail prints on his hand. Yes, and the beauty, what I love about Jesus, he did not refuse to show Thomas. That's the beauty of Jesus. He understood his problem, or his character, his personality. He's someone who loves hard evidence. Yes, even me, sometimes I feel I'm like a Thomas, or I like hard evidence, I need to know, is this thing real? There's a song Kirk Franklin sang, let me touch you and see if you are real. He sang it because he really wanted to know, is this Jesus real? Yes, is this Jesus real? That's what people need to know. Anyway, so some people, they don't need to know that Jesus is real. The Gnostic Jesus, there's even now there's what you call the Republican Jesus. There's the Democrat Jesus, there's the Catholic Jesus, there's the Pentecostal Jesus, all of these Jesuses. There are many gods, and Catholic Jesus is the same as the Pentecostal. He may not be the same as the Pentecostal Jesus. There's the Islamic Jesus. All of these Jesuses are different. So that's what you understand about life. Anyway, we are done with that. And so basically, know that the mercies of God are new every morning, infinite, as long as we're in this world. Until you awake today, yes, today the mercies of God are there for you. Tomorrow they'll be there for you. The next day they will be there for you. All, every day. And then what have we read? His mercies endureth forever. Infinite. Forever. Okay, guys, that was just my thoughts. I'm going to do another video about afterlife when we get time. But for now, we are very happy to have discussed this discussion, knowing full well that the grace of God was also in the Old Testament. Even though the Old Testament has a God who is good and evil, in the sense that he does evil and he does good. And I told people in one of my videos that we are gods, just like Psalms 82 verse 6 says. So what does that mean? We can do good and evil, because God also does good and evil. Yes, God kills, God gives life. Humans kill, humans give life. That's it. So that's what you need to understand about all humans. We are all gods. The only thing that happens to us, we can't stay in this world forever in this body. Oh, there are so many thoughts running in my head, but I'll put them down and we'll discuss them. Okay, thank you for joining us.